Welcome back. This is Dagger with his Road Ahead. Um, I'd like to first off apologize. The quarter two Road Ahead I recorded ended up not having audio, so I ended up forgetting to re-record it. So I will go over what I did over the last 3-ish months. We'll go here to squads first. So there's a lot that's changed since the last one you saw in January. I've added a lot of relics. I have 7-star R7 General Skywalker. I rounded out most of my GAC teams. As I scroll down here, you can see working on Hux and the Resistance heroes. Got my first order to Gear 12. And I'll break it down a little bit more by faction. I'm ready to unlock Ki-Adi-Mundi when he comes back after the next TB, next Lightside TB. And I've got a couple of projects I'm working on as I'm not currently going for Galactic Legends. So, let's kind of come back here and I'll kind of go over where everything's at. We'll start at the bottom. Sith Empire. Probably nothing's changed here, except for maybe the Gear 12 Sith Assassin. Took Bastila to R4 and Malik to R6 for Galactic Legend counters. Separatists. The only real changes the changes I have is I finished Gear 13ing and low relicking my bounty hunters. Took GBA to R7 for Galactic Legends counters and took Spy to R4 for PvP. GATW. Got my resistance almost all to Gear 12. I'm not currently farming Rose, but she'll eventually get farmed. Not necessarily going for Rey at all, but I do want the Resistance heroes Gear 12 because they are quite good at characters. Gear 13 Daka and Night Sister Spirit. Daka is for the Night Sister Assault Battle, and just Darkside TB, and Spirit is because she's probably the best Night Sister. My Imperial Troopers are Gear 12. I actually did this for the Escape podcast. You'll see I'll be finishing off Shore Trooper eventually and Magma Troopers in my future projects. But I wanted the Gear 12, the Trooper team. Everyone but Stormtrooper here. I told Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Iyer and Scotty McLaren that if they hit 1,000 subs over there, that I would Gear 12 them. And I'm a man of my word. I even put the Zeta on Stark, which I didn't need to do. That wasn't part of the agreement. But I figured for completionism, I would do it. I can pass the Acklay mission more than half the time. Not relevant. Alright, this is where some of the changes happened. I've took my Shock T up to R2 and took my General Skywalker to R7. So took R2 to R5 for the Padme team, and kind of rounded out some of my secondary characters that I may or may not push a little higher, depending on what I need for Lightside TB. It's not my primary focus at the moment, but this is something I'm willing to come back to. Alright, so this is a point of contention, I guess, for myself, personally. I'm on the home stretch with Hux, and I don't really want to relic all these bad characters to get Kylo. That being said, I think I'm going to be building the Finalizer fleet. So, I think I'm going to be taking all of these characters except for, First Order Officer I think is the only non-pilot. Besides Fox, but Fox is like absurd on his own. So, I think I'm going to Gear 13 the faction, and we'll see how long it takes me to get to that. This is not an active project. This is a passive project. It's down the road a little bit. I have a bunch of stuff I want to take care of. So since we looked at Resistance and we looked at First Order, I'll kind of walk you through my thought process on Galactic Legends. Galactic Legends are excellent characters that will take your roster to maybe not the next level, but they will definitely give you a meta character. However, it requires an awful lot of relics on an awful lot of average, mediocre, whatever you want to call them, characters. And this is not really an opinion, so I'll just kind of say it. Taking a mediocre character to relics does not make a character good. It makes it a stronger version of a mediocre character. So, do I want to have a bunch of R3s and R5 characters for no reason outside of getting Kylo? And not right now. I'm going to wait and see what the Empire Strikes Back stuff is this summer before I go all in on the First Order. But I will not be doing Rey. Probably ever. Empire, no real change. I'm taking all my pilots to level 85. Fight me. Clones definitely are better from the last video. I didn't want to do that. So we'll just go. This I did for Reality Skewed Gamers. I took my Django team, Django lead bounty hunter team, to Relics for their charity event, which was canceled due to the COVID-19 thing. I was planning to fly down to Orlando, meet up with Xylo and DPK, and kind of hang out and meet RSG and kind of do some stuff. That being said, I'll get to my project shortly, but the other bounty hunters are a few of them are on the list. So you can see I'm currently working on Jawas. So one of the reasons I'm working on Jawas is I kind of just want to fuck around and gear up characters from the middle to bottom of my roster while everyone who got their first Galactic Legend takes off and gets their second Galactic Legend. So I want to be behind the GP curve, if you will, the top 80 curve. Plus, now that Darth Revan is my Rey counter, I won't be putting on defense anymore, which means I'll be putting Padme on defense, and I won't bore you with all the shuffling. But basically, it means that Traya now has to take on Padme if I see it on defense, which means I need a Geo counter. I could build the Zeta Finn team, but the Resistance heroes need relics, and fuck that. So Jawas it is. So we'll come over here. This says Gear 12 projects, but it's also Gear 11 projects. I don't plan to take all these characters to Gear 12 necessarily. Some of them I won't be able to because they won't be 7 stars. I'm going to finish taking all the Jawas up. I want to take Short Trooper to Gear 12. Hopefully by the time I get done with the Jawas, these bounty hunters and Kara will be farmable. I really like their kits. Can't really justify putting too much gear into them. Aura's there because Aura with Grief and Bosk activates Mandalorian's contract. I don't know if you heard me snap, but two turns. Bosk, taunt, Grief, mass assist, Bosk, mass assist. Mando gets to blow somebody up. The rest of these characters here are low priority, or when I get to them. I want to take my pilots to Gear 11. You can see all the pilots here. And then I kind of just have the rest of my Resistance that isn't Gear 12 just kind of bookmarked at the bottom as things I do want to get around to eventually. I do want to Gear 12 my Resistance at some point. This list is a whole lot shorter. I want to take my Sith Empire all to Relics or to Gear 13, maybe not Relics. We'll see how many Relics I need on Sith Trooper. Mission and Zalbar, because I really like them, and Sunfac for fleet, and to ensure I can consistently pass the Acklay. So these are kind of my projects for the next few months. Obviously, pending what's going to happen. My priorities could shift rather abruptly if there's a new legendary or journey character. So we will see what happens there. Now we'll come over to ships real quick. One of my passive projects is basically maxing out all the ships. You can see that's one of the reasons I want to take all my pilots to level 85. I want to take all my pilots to Gear 11, basically max out all my ships, because it's called Star Wars, not Ground Wars. And anything I do to the bottom half of my roster is going to be okay. Currently, we're in the middle of the Imperial TIE Bomber event, and I will get him to 5 stars. Probably a little more than that. I didn't push super hard on the Rebel Y-Wing because it was on Fleet Energy, and that was... I'm not farming anything on Fleet. I mean, I'm not farming anything on Cantina either, but I mean, the EV is a lot higher on Cantina because you get a currency, Cantina currency, which I've been using for Shard Shop currency. Farming the Peltmobile and the BTLY wing because, as you can see again, I don't really have any other ships that I need to farm. So I definitely want to take all my ships to 7-star. That's one of my goals. Don't know how long this is going to take, but that's, again, I love ships. Unfortunately, characters carry a lot more weight, and I'll just kind of slowly scroll down. You can see where I'm at. I've been working on the middle and bottom of my roster, so you'll start to see a steep drop-off right around here. But a lot of these characters I want to work on. You'll notice a lot of the characters that are in this area, the Gear 8 area, are in my favorites for one reason or another. So I definitely want to work on a bunch of these characters. I want to top some of them off. Yeah, that's about it. Got my Triumvirate to Gear 13. I guess I don't know if I remember if I mentioned that. But yeah, lots happened in the last 6 months. I was 5.4-ish, 5.35-ish in my January video. And in the June video, 6 months later, a little less than 6 months, whatever. 6 months later, I'm almost 5.9. So, that's crazy, man. It's crazy. Most of that's relics. Well, maybe not most, but I went kind of nuts on relics over the last 6 months, which is one of the reasons I'm working on the middle and bottom of my roster, because I want to wait for the people who, I said this before, I want to wait for the people who are getting their first and second Galactic Legends to pass me by on their top 80. And the easiest way to do that is to build up the middle of my roster. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this gave you some ideas or gave you some insight into how I value my roster. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. One thing I did over the last 6 months is I took the pedal off mods a bit. I've only been doing 3, sometimes 4 refreshes, but I haven't been spending. So I didn't take a pledge or anything. I just don't want to give CG money for a mediocre product. So I've been being a little more efficient with my crystals and a little bit more efficient with my resources. It's been a learning process for me the last 6 months. I might make a separate video on that. Learning how to not dolphin or whale. So maybe look out for that. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Don't care. They both boost this video. Feel free to comment, ask a question, or and consider subscribing. Content's been a little light the last month or so because 3v3's been, well, might talk about that in another video. And Kyle has been been part of the Chain Gang on Twitch. So go subscribe to Deadpool Kyle 328, I believe. Man, I really should have looked that up before I'd said that. Whatever. Yeah, go support his channel. Support this channel if you feel the need. And have a wonderful day, guys.